light itself. So the definition of love is light. But when you see that and it touches you, you will know that it's right. At that point, allow whatever happens to happen. It might be a long trip. Remember, when you leave your body, time doesn't exist the same way it does here. In the 20 minutes that you usually stay out of your body, you can do years of work, weeks, years, or months, in that time frame of that 20 minutes that you're out of the physical body. So it's an incredible experience. I mean, if you watch the story of Scrooge, when he meets the ghost of Christmas present, Christmas future, and how he takes them and he sees and shows, well, you can be doing that. And it's a starting point of seeing your past lives, understanding them, how you can relate them and bring them back into this physical reality. Because you don't need to learn something over and over again. And in the physical world, learning how to cook over and over again just means you cook hot dogs over and over again. It doesn't mean you're getting closer to God at any level. So when you step out of the body, be prepared for new experiences. Like, I want to see the Taj Mahal. I want to see that. No. See what they show you, where they bring you. And they'll bring you into the astral plane. They'll show you where souls come into the astral plane. What happens when they do? At that point, your awareness takes a giant step forward. Because now you can see what's going to happen when you die. And that's so critical in the future when you come closer to your death and understanding it than living your whole life being happy. Because you'll be happy all your whole life. When it comes time to dying, you're afraid. And you don't know what's going to happen. So it's a good thing to say, I work with an angel, but don't try to give it a name unless you said, who are you? And they want to tell you a physical name. Realize every being in every dimension has a sound that it vibrates at. That sound becomes the name that you are as a soul being. Not Tommy, Joe, Schmo, Peter, Paul. Mine's the car, and it's a vibration. Now, some people say, I can't say mine out loud. Why? It's who you are. It's not who anybody else is. When you go and travel to the astral plane, to the mental plane, they all know you by that sound. You don't have to tell them your name. I mean, you'll hear your sound vibrating, and then somebody's calling you. It's an amazing thing, but it's beyond communication of language and voice. So when you step into that, there's so much stuff going on that you can learn, and it starts the first time you step out of your body. Hearing somebody talk about it, like just listening to me talk about it, hope it excites you, but I hope it makes you realize you need to do that or should want to do that. I mean, it's your choice. You could stay happily where you are and say, well, Jesus protects me, God protects me, Moses protects me, whatever you want to say. But when you see your child die, when you get run over by a car and your soul's standing there, what do? People become ghosts because they have no direction to go, nothing to follow, or they get cut off. I don't want to go into the alien thing yet, but there's a lot of things that can happen. Being aware of soul is the most important thing any being, any soul on this planet can learn. Spirit is a different thing than soul, and only people that have experienced the higher realms can tell you that exactly what it is. And I'll tell you, soul is you. It's what you will always be until you leave the soul plane, because then you let go of the soul body. But up until then, which is who knows how long, trillions of years, whatever, you take on this body, and that's what you are. And it doesn't have to change. If you start in your soul body, you're aware of everything from there down to here, and there's five different realms. Each one of them has a god. I call them little gods. Just as school has a principal and teacher. You have to go past these to get into the next realm. And we're not going to go there yet because we got to get you into the astral plane. And understand that. Understand why you go there, what you're going to do when you get there, and how long you're going to stay there. Now, to make this easy on you, which you might not perceive as easy, if you stay in this world, all right, in the astral plane, you're going to perceive everything as great. Oh, this is fun. Oh, that's cool. I talked about it the other day, and I said age is limited to what you want to be in. And you'll pick 26 to 36 years old, 90% of the time. You want to be a child, that's your choice. But you do a lot less learning, and it takes a lot longer to get anywhere because you don't grow and change there. You don't change into an older being as you get older. You don't get older. You only become aware, and when you become aware, you leave. And, I mean, you could describe it as hell because you're stuck there until you realize you can get out of it. So what I want to say about that, while you're here on planet Earth, it's the easiest place to be to grow the most spiritually. I should say aware. Because in pain and suffering makes you look harder for the truth. If everything's rosy and everything's perfect, what are you looking for? Just another place to have fun. And most people consider life supposedly to have fun. Well, that's what they were programmed to believe. And that's what happened in Atlantis when it was sunk. 4 races left. 5 of them stayed here. A few of each race stayed here, had to, was stuck here. And then certain races were playing with their minds and creating, killing, and all the other things that we do now, which wasn't part of ourself as soul. So why did God allow it? We can talk about that, but not right this second. Wait, what I say with angels. Once you work with this angel, the second thing you need to learn, responsibility to it. Because if you dedicate a time to do your exercise, to meet with it and everything, that soul will be there every day, all the time, every time that you make the commitment. When you break it, and you start breaking it, breaks your tie with your angels. Many people break their ties with the angels before it even starts, because they don't build the foundation, which you need, for the angel to really give their eternity life to help you grow. So when they say, well, what is an angel? Well, they do get missions. There's so many angels out there. The ones that have specific missions that come here to have to give the warning to some particular race of people or whatever, the world's going to be destroyed and things, that's a little bit different. And they're not the angels you're going to work with. There's higher angels and lower angels, and all the ones that are here are the lower angels because they were cast out of the higher realm, because they started fighting. And that's not an existing thing to do on the mental or the causal plane. 4th, 5th level. 5th level, it's beyond that. Nothing can happen there. Nothing does. And nothing will ever happen again on the 4th plane. And that's why the gods were allowed to stay there and keep control over who and what goes through it. Because just take one mass murderer that had all his psychic abilities from here to go into the soul plane and try to kill everybody. I mean, it's just a ridiculous idea, but that's why it's not working and it doesn't happen. So, and to show you what's happening to society, when the Pope himself comes out and tells Christianity that there's no such thing as hell, what does that do to people that have a programmed mind saying hell is where we go if we're bad? What's it tell bad people? And if you haven't noticed in the past 2 years how much crime, rape, abuse, and everything's been going up, if people realize 2.4 billion people accept Christianity, and if they accept what the Pope says, it's even worse. Because he also said Adam and Eve was a fake story. He's also rewriting the 10 Commandments. So I know Christians that are really doubting the Pope right now, and now with this whole sex thing, hopefully it'll take him out. I'm not saying in a bad way. I don't condemn Catholic religion. I mean, their belief should be true to what it is, which it's not. If you believe in thou shalt not kill, you can't go and kill people. If you believe in your own laws and live by them, you will die a spiritual person, because you'll move into the next realm and stay there. If you give in to man's ego, which means going to war and killing somebody, you're stuck with karma. That doesn't get purified any which way other than a person working it out, meaning multiple lifetimes after this one. Now, sure, abuse and all those things, it's in the Bible. If you believe in the Bible, go to Revelations where it says the things that cannot be forgiven. Nobody wants to read
Tommy,
that. Sure, go ahead.
Tommy, I just want to know, we can now clone humans, and they've been cloning horses, and that was on news. But it takes millions of dollars to do it. But how is that going to affect all of us? Because it's not like twins. They're cloning
Here's the thing.
horses, but they're going to clone them. And this is coming, folks. It's not.
Oh, no,
we can
they're
already
doing
clone.
it right now, TJ.
Cloning humans, not parts. Yeah.
Oh, no. Somebody just told me something happened just recently. But you remember when they cloned the first goat, which was like 25 years ago? So let me say this. God created life. Sheep, sorry. But God created life a certain way. Mankind, playing God, thinks he can rearrange that. The difference is when something's going to have life, something has to step into it to give it life. Otherwise, it won't live for a period of time. A baby dying with 2 weeks, 3 weeks old because there's no soul capable of going in it. They call it crib death, and science still can't prove that. And I'm telling you straight out what it is. Soul comes into a body that it deserves. If something's cloned, I will tell you this straight out. Aliens and demons are incarnating into this reality.
Well, what I want to tell you is the horses, they have polo, and they've been cloning them for at least 7 years. But they've got like 10 of the same one out there. The number one guy in polo, it's been the head of the best player in the world for 22 years. But he's got the most cloned horses, right? They're maybe a little different with a little white patch on their nose or on their hoof or something.
Right.
But they're the same temperament, the same. He swears it's his same original horse. I mean, he knows the spirit, right? And he won't. That the interviewer said, but why don't he gives them Delphine like the name? I forgot the name of the horse, but over and over and over, and he numbers him. She says, shouldn't they have names? He says, no, it's still Quintanero, whatever his first horse name was. But he gives them numbers, and it seems strange, but it seems oddly coincidental, maybe from movies or whatever. But how many of me and how many of you, and we don't? Do you think that they'd have different souls, even if they have the same? They're not even using male sperm. They're only using women. They're putting the egg without male sperm into the host of the woman, the mare.
Let's not even go that far. I mean, fish can change sex. A couple creatures on this planet can change sex. But soul has to be in it to retain life. But what that soul is could be a lower cell. I mean, it could be a soul from a fish. It could be a soul from a frog. It could be a soul from any other creature that moves into it because it's not an aware being. All right? And I'll tell you this because I know people that say they're cloned. I mean, they say they cloned Tesla. I mean, there's stories out there in the UFO world that are crazy about it as well. The fact is, it needs something inside it that'll keep it alive. If not, they'll have to put some kind of mechanical device with a programmed computer chip that makes it move and react, which they're doing as well. I don't know if you heard the other person talk about the robots that they have in Japan right now. They are fully humanized as far as the way they act, talk, and move, and even you put your own face on it, who you want it to look like. They don't have metal parts in them. There's a lot of bags that blow up for the muscles and things like that, so it feels like a human being as well. So the only thing is it's a computerized memory cell inside there. And now people want to put their own memory in a cell chip to live forever in their thinking. Mind is not soul, and that's why I want to bring it out more now than ever. The soul will leave. No matter what they do to you or how they do it, soul will rise up and move out of the body and into a higher space. Now, the souls coming in that move into these poverty-stricken children are souls that are really in a negative situation and they can't take on a real life yet. So when these beings when people create other life forms or try to, they're not going to create spiritual beings. They will have no connection to God, which means they're cut off from that teaching and awareness. They'll be programmed by the mind because the mind will be the most active thing that the government's working with and filling it with their own programmed ideas. But you have to realize, we don't want more people on planet Earth. We want robots. The government, all races, all the different countries, they want robots. They don't want people. A robot will work 24 hours, 7 days a week, and you don't even have to pay